हेलो, गुड इवनिंग, वेलकम, सुस्वागतम, स्वागत है आपका आज के इस एक्सपर्ट टॉक शो में. सो टुडे इज आर 104, आर 104th एपिसोड, एंड वी विल हैव आर एक्सपर्ट ऑफ द डे, कोच अंजना त्रिपाठी. सो लेट अस वेलकम आर एक्सपर्ट ऑफ द डे ऑन द शो. Hi Anjana, welcome.
Hello and good evening, Vipul.
Yes, very good evening. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and would love to have you on this show.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So it's an amazing topic, and looking forward to an amazing, insightful discussion, and hope to get the great questions from audience as well. So yes, audience, you can participate. You can ask your live question. Don't forget to like and share this session in your network. If you are watching it on LinkedIn, then do share it in your network so that ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग इस सेशन में जुड़ पाएंगे and they can also get benefit out of it. So do share it on LinkedIn if you're watching it. अगर आप YouTube पे देख रहे हैं तो subscribe our YouTube channel Vipul the Wonderful and press the bell icon to get our regular updates of live session. We used to do it every weekend. So let us start the session. Let me give a brief intro about our expert of the day. And before that, don't forget to check अंजना त्रिपाठी प्रोफाइल. मैं उनका लिंक्डइन यूआरएल यहाँ पे शो कर रहा हूँ. सो check her LinkedIn profile, do connect with her, and after this live also you can connect her, you can DM her, and you can ask your queries. She'll be happy to help you, and she'll be happy to connect with you. So let us start the session. Let me give a brief intro about uh, Coach Anjana Tripathy, a professional who dons multiple hats at one point of time, but at the core of whatever work she does, it has always been about impacting and empowering lives. She is an internationally certified life coach, a career and corporate mentor, a learning and development evangelist, possessing 2 decades of cross industry experience, and NLP practitioner, and an HR analytics professional certified by IIM Rohtak, and a regular columnist with an English tabloid, Coffee Bytes, and also an international keynote speaker. So you're doing amazing, and would like to know more about you. So tell us more about you and your journey till now. Over to you.
First and foremost, Vipul, thank you so very much for that fab introduction. And well,
My
you have
pleasure.
said almost everything about me. I want to say that yes, I don multiple hats at one point of time. However, at the core of whatever I do, it's always been very people centric, very people centric. So it's always been about mentoring, about helping people grow, about helping people succeed in their personal as also professional lives. 2 decades of experience in the training and development industry uh, showed me varied vistas, and I came across a variety, a plethora of personalities, and I crossed paths with lots of illustrative and distinguished personalities. At the same time, I saw there is a lot of room for improvement, lot of room for improvement, that people require help, need help, potential has to be identified, talent has to be identified, the right person at the right spot. All these problems are plaguing, the corporate scenario. After that, I became an internationally certified life coach under the tutelage of none other than Mr. Arfin Khan, who is a globally acclaimed celebrity coach, and now he calls himself a mind hacker, right? So I am one of the devoted soldiers of Mr. Arfin Khan. I'm sure everybody has heard about him. So he actually, I have, you mentioned my certifications, but other than all the certifications, this certification as a coach, as a life coach, it was so experiential in nature, because the beauty of this whole experience was at first we transform ourselves and then we go about transforming the lives of others. So we are not saying that we are having a magic pill here, because you will have to do as per what your coach tells you. However, it's very, very experiential and very magical. So, and the name of the program that I conduct is The Incredible You. Apart from that, I visit corporates, and my newest vertical of work is the employee wellness, which is again the need for the hour. I love to write, and I'm a regular columnist. I'm in the middle of authoring my first book. So that's what, in a nutshell, about me. Happy
That
to be.
that's amazing, and looking forward to an amazing session. Yes, audience, you can ask your question. We would love to have them. So do ask your question. We'll cover them in between if relevant to the topic. So let me start the session with the very first question of the day.
Vipul, I think I'm sorry for the interjection, but the volume I think is a bit low.
Okay, now it's clear. Just a second. Now it's clear.
When you began, it was very good.
Now it's clear.
Little more.
Oh yeah, now it's clear.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Yeah. So that was amazing. Would love to have more insights from you. So let me start the session with the very first question. And yes, audience, you can also ask your question. We'll definitely cover them in between. So very first question of the day: what are some common sources of stress and anxiety individuals encounter when building their personal brand, and how can they identify these challenges?
All right. That's a very important question because, and I'm happy that it is the opening question, Vipul. See, individuals these days have realized, most of the individuals, most of the professionals have realized the importance of personal branding. Given the advent of the internet and the social media platforms, however, along with the perks and the positives, there have been some banes also, some negatives also, and the primary of them being stress and anxiety. So, what are the common sources of stress and anxiety associated with personal branding? When you go about creating a personal brand out of your profile, out of your name, out of your profile, so individuals often face pressure, from self comparison, fear of judgment, because people generally, they have preconceived notions in their mind. I'm not being judgmental here, but again, we also find,
True.
ourselves falling victim to that. But after life coaching, touch wood, I have risen above these things. So there is a lot of judgment going on. Some say good, some say bad, and some say objectionable, and so that constant fear of judgment. Will I post this, and I don't know what the reaction will be. I don't know how people will uh, take it. Will they take it positively? Will they have nasty comments? So there's a lot of fear of judgment. um, there's this fear, this pressure of maintaining a consistent image. So this is the image that I want to create because I connect with this image. This is me. This is me. But consistency, coming up with content and maintaining consistency is one of the biggest sources of stress and anxiety. As you can understand, we are all content strategists out here. So having variety, having uniqueness in your content, maintaining that can create a little bit of pressure. Then there is this need for validation. My post didn't get any likes, or it has got only one like, or it has got only three likes, and one of them is mine because nobody was putting a like. I put a like. Yeah, I'm just giving some examples. These things we have faced these things, right, in our initial stages. I have faced. So this is constantly going on. This is record, and we have a habit. We have a tendency. Whenever we post something, we need to check how many likes. Are there any comments, positive or negative? Now, how to identify these challenges? First and foremost, there's a lot of soul searching that is required here. If you know what I mean, a lot of introspection, look inwards. It involves self reflection, self analysis, monitoring your emotional responses, as also recognizing the triggers that happen during the brand building activities. So have a pulse on whatever you are posting. Of course, don't be obsessed with them, and don't break your head too much over them. Yes.
Well said. Very true. So yeah, that's amazing. you have answered it very promptly and very quickly, that uh, how we can overcome stress and anxiety. Yes, good evening, Prabhakaran, for joining in. Thank you for showing your presence. Yes, audience, you can show your presence by typing hi, hello, good evening. We would love to show them, see that, because that motivates us. Thank you so much. So, moving on to the next question, uh, could you share examples of how personal branding efforts can contribute to heightened anxiety and stress among individuals in today's competitive landscape?
Yes, of course. As I said, I think I've already covered the most of the answer in the first question itself. Um, See, I'll tell you something very candidly. Just a moment. I'll tell you something very candidly.
Yes, please.
When we post something on Facebook, there is a vibe to it. When we post something over LinkedIn, there is a different vibe to it, a completely different vibe to it. When we post something on Instagram, there's a completely different vibe of that social media platform. So every social media platform has got its own vibe, right? And we've got to understand. For example, LinkedIn has got everything going on in LinkedIn is professional, right? Yet you find some pictures coming over, some, every post nowadays I find has got some kind of glamorous picture associated with
True.
it, somebody's anniversary,
True.
and they have created a post out of it. Of course it is giving vent to your creative juices. It is, of course, that, right? But again, what happens is that you expect people will admire not only your post but also the beauty. Yes, right? So,
Very
and the
true.
scenario and the scenic picture, often, this judgment, this balance can create a little bit of anxiety, wherein, people often jump the fence over to that. Anniversary picture ideally would be, it would be very suitable for Facebook or Instagram. Over LinkedIn, I think we should have our own filters. We should have our own filters. Anyway, people have created, after 28 years of marriage, after 16 years of marriage, this is what I learned. Da, 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 da. So it's all about creating balance. So when they enlist their learnings, what they do is they write professional things, that this is what I learned. I learned to manage this. My managerial skills were enhanced. I learned compatibility. I learned interpersonal skills, which helped me in my company. So I would say, blend it properly, right? And there shouldn't be anxiety like, am I looking beautiful? These kind of pictures, should be avoided, I think. And if at all you are, having a blend of personal as well as professional in that, don't expect too many like comments about beauty. I'm giving an example about LinkedIn. Okay, I'm giving an example. Nowadays, Facebook is also becoming professional, but again, you have lots of birthdays and anniversaries. So it's all about striking the balance. Over Facebook, you see our birthday posts get so many likes and comments. The same goes for Instagram. However, on LinkedIn, I have seen that people are a little wary. They are a little controlled about their responses. So all this can add to the intensity of emotions that we go through.
Very true, very true. Well said. So you've answered it correctly. Well said. And even audience is appreciating. Well said. Kishore is appreciating. Well said. Thank you, Kishore. Uh, Aisha is appreciating great content, and even Chetan uh, Sakuja is also appreciating great content. Thank you everyone for the appreciation. So moving on to the next question, what strategies or approaches have you found effective in helping individuals navigate and manage the pressure associated with establishing their personal brand?
Yes, very important. First and foremost, we've got to understand that our goals, our objectives of posting anything or sharing anything, they have to be very realistic. They have to be very realistic, as also I will reinforce the statement that I said in my earlier answer, that every platform, every social media platform has got a different vibe to it. So you've got to understand and feel the pulse of that social media platform and post accordingly. Have your own filters as per the demands of that social media platform. Understand, people give, people exude positivity when they feel understood, when they see positivity in your posts, when they see learnings in your post. So you've got to be very realistic about the goals that you set for yourself, and you've got to prioritize self care. You've got to prioritize yourself more than the post or whatever you're sharing or the content that you're sharing. You've got to understand that this is something that I'm sharing for putting out there for people. I've shared, now it's my me time, right? So setting realistic goals, prioritizing self-care, time management skills, these are effective strategies to manage the pressures that we are facing these days due to personal branding, which is the need of the hour. You can also seek support from professionals, from mentors, from your seniors, or therapists, life coaches. You can maintain authenticity, be yourself, and that is going to win half of the battle, because you are unique. And when you write something from your inner core, that's got to connect with the audience, at least with a segment of the audience. These are effective approaches. Additionally, you focus on meaningful connections over numbers, because you see, people are, as I said, how many likes, how many comments, how many followers. This is the constant humdrum around social media branding, personal branding. So let us focus. I think the most effective strategy that I can give out here is, let us focus on quality, not on numbers. Let us focus on meaningful connections, building up on meaningful connections rather than seeing the numbers. And when we adopt these strategies, they can go a long way in alleviating our stress. Yeah.
Very, very well answered. You rightly said that you should focus on your me time, because that is ultimately that helps you to, revive and rebounds. You, so that is very important. And a takeaway for me is focus on the quantity, quality, not the quantity. Number of connections are not important, but at the end of the day, how many persons will be with you at the time of real need, that is more important. कभी भी emergency होती है और आपको कितने लोग you can call and they'll be at with you without seeing time and condition or the weather, that is more important. So that is very rightly said. Great, great. Yes, audience would love to have your questions. So keep asking your questions. We'll definitely cover them during the session. So moving on to the next question, in your experience, and yes, once again, don't forget to check Anjana's profile and don't forget to connect with her. She would love to help you. She will answer your queries. You can DM her your queries. If you cannot ask in the open forum, then you can definitely connect with her and DM her. She would love to answer your queries. So moving on to the next question, and in your experience, what role does self awareness play in managing anxiety within personal branding endeavors, and how can individuals cultivate this self awareness effectively?
First and foremost, Vipul, thank you so much. Am I audible, Vipul?
Perfect.
Okay. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for asking people to connect, and people can feel free to DM for any sort of help that they require, and we can start a conversation. I'm more than happy to help anybody who's facing these pressures or facing any kind of pressure for that matter. Now, when you talk about self-awareness, you see, I can cite countless number of examples. I've myself been a victim out there, wherein I looked at posts, got influenced, I looked at content, got influenced, and started, creating, formulating content as per that post that I went through, that influenced me a lot. Again, there is no harm in going through posts. There is no harm in taking inspiration or learning. However, after all the learning, it's important to understand how to learn, unlearn, relearn, right? Copy paste, I think this is happening. So when we talk about self awareness is very crucial and very important in recognizing one's strengths, one's weaknesses, so that you can formulate content as per your strengths. You understand what limitations you have. If there's vocab, there's narrative that is missing. If the proper narrative is missing, you can work upon these weaknesses. And for the time being, I will begin with my core strengths. That can be a strategy for content creation. So self awareness is also understanding your own values, because my values are not going to be the same as Vipul's values. I grew up with a set of values. Over time, I picked up some other values. When I got certified as a life coach internationally, that too, started working with national and international clients, a lot of things happened, and I learned. My mind opened up. I broadened my horizons. Again, somebody must have got exposure to Canada. I got exposure to US. Both the exposures are different in texture, right? So you've got to understand the values, the triggers. Right now I am having lots of values, some of them inculcated from childhood, some of them from my school, some of them from the programs I watched during childhood and teenage years, some of them from my college, and some of them from my companies that I worked for, correct? Some of them from my parents and some of them from my family members. So I have become a person with a set amount of values, and also from life coaching, wherein we call them baselines. We call baselines. So my baselines are different from Vipul's baselines, which are different from Kishore's baselines, and so on and so forth. So you have got to understand yourself first. You've got to build a very healthy relationship with yourself first, and cultivating self awareness involves a lot of things. Introspection, sit with yourself, spend time with yourself, look inwards for all the answers to your questions. Seek feedback from trusted people only. When I say trusted people, your inner voice will tell you who they are. So
Very true.
solicit feedback from people you trust, and be always be willing to adapt, to change, based on what you discover about yourself. So self discovery, self awareness plays a very, very, very crucial role, very important role
Very, very
in
well.
combat. Self branding as also combating, these pressures.
So you rightly said, self introspection and seeking feedback from the right people, because there are many people who will guide you for the sake of guiding, but they will demotivate you, or they will guide you in the other direction. So you rightly said, seeking guidance from the right people. And that's where Chetan's question goes on, like how to manage the nasty comments, as you said, many people will comment, or many people will guide in a nasty way, on the vague way. So how to manage that?
Okay, Chetan, it's a very interesting question that you've posed, and a question that perhaps everybody has in his or her mind, but everybody hesitates to pose this question. And hats off to Chetan for coming across with this question. Chetan, over time, I have learned that when you have some negative comments. So see, I'm using a softer word now instead of nasty, which is a stronger word. I'm using a milder word now, milder expression. If you have some negative comments, you know, you got to understand the audience at large. Is somebody that you cannot control. Can you control the audience? You can control only yourself. Can you control A, B, C, D, E, F, G, everybody who's reading through your post or seeing your pictures? Not possible. So initially, I have been a victim. I have reacted rather than responding. Now, I usually, when I get negative comments, I always first and foremost begin with the positive. I always say, thank you for sharing your perspective. However, we can agree to disagree with a smiley or with the victory sign, something like that. So I just diffuse the tension out there, because people might be trying to trigger me, trying to evoke some kind of reaction, but I choose to respond, not react, because that is also thought that that person is sharing. So we should welcome different perspectives, different thought process, dimensions of thought. So thank you for sharing your dimension of thought, and this is an open forum. Let's discuss more perspectives. Okay, done.
Well answered. So you can tackle that think with a very very positive and very polite way. So that's amazing. And Sayyid Mubashir Hussain is adding upon self-awareness is the sense, very rightly said. And even Sandeep Nath is also adding upon, like, self-awareness holds the key to branding oneself with authenticity. Even if one wears more many hats, the appropriate audience sees the personal brand genuinely they devoted to their content. So very very rightly added upon. Thank you for adding your views, and would love to have your views. So keep adding up. And moving on to the very next question, are there any misconceptions surrounding personal branding that tend to uh, exacerbate anxiety, and how can this misconceptions be addressed or reframed?
Yes, there are many misconceptions. Misconceptions rule the roost as far as social media is concerned, and when you set out to create your own brand. So there are lots and lots of misconceptions. The common ones being, and the ones which provoke anxiety, which aggravate anxiety, instead of reducing, they aggravate more anxiety. So misunderstandings about needing a perfect image. I need a perfect image. My image has to be, my brand, my self branding has to be perfect, picture perfect. The quote going along with the post, the picture going along with the post, the illustration going along with the post, the text, the vocab, the narrative, the closing, post, the closing sentences have to be picture perfect. Now, perception is again, perfect. I will say that perfection is a perception actually. You learn while being on the job, you learn in your journey. So, this is the foremost thing that I've noticed is a misconception, that misunderstanding about me needing a perfect image. There's nothing known as perfect, right? You can better your second post from the first one. The third post can even be better than the initial two posts, so on and so forth. The second misunderstanding that I want to discuss is rapid success. So I need to increase the number of followers very, very quickly. I need constant visibility. People should be pruned, they should be riveted on their eyes and ears should be riveted on my post. And I respect that because that's human tendency. That's okay. But again, it's a misconception and it increases anxiety, it increases your pressure. You come under a lot of pressure, yet another pressure. We have our corporate pressures, we have our familial pressures, and this is yet another pressure, an added on pressure. So rapid success is something that I want, people want, everybody wants, constant visibility. All these can intensify pressure to a great extent. Imagine, always checking your phone or your laptop for the kind of adulation coming your way, whether adulation came your way or not, whether people are seeing or not, people are connecting or not, people are engaging with your post or not. That can be a very, very big pressure, huge pressure, and that can play like a record at the back of your mind. See, I told you. Sometimes it has happened with me. I told you nobody will engage with this sort of post. See, I told you 1 hour has passed and still no engagement, nobody has liked and nobody has engaged, and you start considering, should I put a small comment out there? The author has added a comment. Should I ask my friends to at least post a like? Imagine the pressures that come with personal branding. Now, addressing these involves reframing success as a journey, success anywhere, be it with personal branding or with your corporate journey. So, you know, understand that success is a journey, enjoy the journey. Start valuing authenticity over perfection. Be authentic, be you, be proud of the personality that you are and the post that you have so courageously, so magnanimously, so uniquely posted. So value that, be proud of that, and start understanding that it's okay to evolve. I'm growing with every post, with every picture that I post, with along with the quote, along with the text. With every post, I'm evolving, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm taking my baby steps towards that huge success. Celebrate your success stories, however small they are. Yes.
Well answered. So rightly said. And Chetan is thanking you. Thank you for the answer. And uh, Aisha is also adding up. Hurt people, and they have to realize that's an internal feeling with them. So great questions. She's appreciating. Thank you so much for being with us. And moving on to the next question, how important it is for individual to set boundaries or establish a balance between personal and professional aspects when crafting their personal brand, and how does this impact their mental well-being?
Yes. Now, this is another very important pointer, Vipul. First and foremost, I want to thank Sandeep, Aisha, Chetan, and everybody, Kishore, everybody who has engaged today and who is, going through this live stream and engaging and connecting with us and
Yes.
understanding the, topic, the all important popular topic that we are brainstorming upon. Now, coming to setting boundaries. I'll tell you, Vipul, establishing boundaries between personal and professional aspects, between personal and professional spaces. This is the first step and a very important step that you take to ensure your mental well being and your mental peace, right? So do that. Set boundaries. It allows for time off social media. Now, everybody will say, what is Anjana trying to say? Here we are discussing about social media presence. Right here, we are discussing about personal branding, and she's saying you take your time off social media, of course, to maintain your sanity out here. People, don't you think that we posted, we keep checking, we posted, and we keep checking, and we ask our friends, and then we contemplate why this happened and why that did not happen. Why this person, my team has. Commented, but two, three members have not commented, and why they have not commented, I instructed my team members and my juniors to. I'm just giving examples. Don't be offended. Just giving examples. So I asked my closest friends also to have a look at the post, and they have done. But person A, person D, and person F, I am noticing they are constantly ignoring my posts. This is something that we get obsessed about. Don't you think it disturbs our mental well being? Don't you think we are mentally going insane, breaking our head about a post? So please block, we call them a buzz moments. Please block time for social media, maybe 1 or 2 hours as per your convenience. Beyond that, you're not supposed to devote time to your personal branding, your social media. Take your screen time off. Be off the screen. I don't know if my family members are listening, they might say that, look who's talking, because Anjana is again, I too have been a victim of these things. I'm trying to control. I've controlled to a great extent, but I know what my family members will say. And then we say we are working, we are posting over LinkedIn, we are not watching videos on YouTube. We are getting inspired. Even if you're watching videos, we are getting inspiration. We are trying to understand. We are researching as to how my next content will be. That's why I'm studying, learning, etc., etc. So it allows, first and foremost, you have to take time off social media. That protects your personal privacy to a great huge extent, and you have to be fiercely protective about your personal life, about your personal privacy. And it also fosters, when you do all these things, when you set boundaries, right, it fosters a healthier work life balance, reducing burnout, reducing stress, and all the paraphernalia that come with stress and burnout. You know how serious burnout is. These days, we are researching upon burnout, we are conducting training workshops. I have been very active in the healthcare industry, and there's a quote that we use for nurses these days, that nurses also need nursing. In the humdrum of their duties and their noble profession, they forget about themselves, they forget to care about themselves. So they must always remember that once they are cared for, once they take care of themselves, they can do perfect justice to the job of taking care of others. If they are uncared for, unloved, if they feel unloved, if they don't take good care of themselves, they cannot take good care of their patients. So it's very important to set boundaries, take good care of yourself, have buzz moments. In our coaching lingo, we say buzz moments, wherein you schedule time for social media. Beyond that, you don't work upon social media. So I block time for my personal branding, which is the need of the hour. I have to do it. Beyond that, I will not do. It's my buzz moment time. Family time, spending time with kids, with pets, listening to music, doing nothing, curling up on the sofa with a cup of coffee. I don't know if I'm sounding very predictive, but yes, these things do matter. Sometimes my husband tells me, that this is this is disturbing our marriage. Sometimes he's been commenting. I don't know if he's watching this, but he would be saying this, that you are addicted. So don't let it become an addiction. You have to set boundaries, time boundaries, mental boundaries, everything.
Yes, so well said. You need to set boundaries. You need to. Uh, I will add upon multitasking is required, but do one thing at a time. So have digital fast nowadays. Very catchy word, that we need to do a digital fast. We need to limit our digital usage. We need to make sure ki what time we need to give when. So that is very well said, and Chetan is appreciating. Thank you, Chetan. Beautifully explained. Thank you so much. So moving on to the next question, can you discuss the significance of seeking support or guidance from mentors, peers, or professionals in reducing this anxiety linked to personal branding initiatives, or professionals like you, how we can get the help.
Yes. So why do you think, Vipul, coaching as a profession is growing by leaps and bounds? There's a growing demand for psychologists, psychotherapists. You know, the stigma, of course, continues, but it has got reduced to a considerable extent. The stigma continues that if you go to a psychologist, oh my God, is something wrong with her mental state? Is she mentally affected? Is she mad? Sorry for the crass language. Is she mad, having mental issues? That stigma continues. However, you see, coaching, life coaching, relationship coaching, health coaching, leadership coaching, career coaching is, of course, there. But nowadays, I am starting this new vertical of work as a relationship coaching with special focus on the healthcare industry professionals. I have talked to people, prospective clients who have become my clients now. Their life is in mayhem. Their relationships are messed up, right? Now, that is a point wherein you shouldn't shy away from seeking professional help. Of course, life coaches are always there to be approached, because if you think people will think otherwise, I will not encourage this line of thought. What will people think? Log kya kahenge? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग. So I would
क्या
first and
करेंगे.
foremost ask you to rise above this thought process. However, if you feel, why should I go to a psychologist? My God, have I reached that stage wherein I should consult a psychotherapist and all that? Am I going nuts? Am I going cuckoo in the head? But understand that coaches are not for people who are going cuckoo in the head or facing a lot of emotional issues, who are, psychiatric patients or psychos. Far from it. My US client is a person, is a young person, and he came to me, when his breakup happened. He had come out of a breakup and he was totally lost in his life. He was not interested in his career. He was not interested in taking up life after the breakup. He was not interested in his wealth codes, family life. He was not connecting with his parents or siblings. And he didn't know the purpose of his life. He said, I am unable to focus. Forget about finding the purpose. I'm unable to do the everyday tasks. So I will not discuss his case in detail. However, it's very important to seek guidance and seek direction, seek support from mentors, maybe your seniors, right? Sometimes trusted peers, your counterparts, professional coaches, psychotherapists. They provide perspective, a dimension of thought that you might not have looked at. They provide advice. In life coaching, we don't provide advice. We ask questions and we coach very effectively through that. But the advice comes in, of course. Emotional support is there when you seek professional help. Please don't shy away from seeking professional help because they provide emotional support that reduces the feeling of isolation, because often you feel isolated when you are so disturbed, when you're going through immense stress, nerves are coiled up and burnout. You feel isolated. You're unable to perform well. Boss is there. Corporate stress is there. Familial pressure is there. Kids are there. Their studies are there. So, however many tutors you engage. So, having said that, all this, if you seek professional help, magic will not happen. Magical transformation is not going to happen. It will happen gradually. Both of you, the coach, the mentor, the psychotherapist, whoever it is, will work along with you. You two have to work. You both will work as a team, right? And the feelings of isolation will gradually disappear. You will not feel the overwhelming responsibility that keeps bearing down upon you. Oh my God, everybody's got a personal digital presence which is very strong. I'm the only one lagging behind. I'm unable to post on a regular basis, on a consistent basis. So you have a go-to person in your mentor, in your life coach, in your leadership coach, or in your relationship coach. You have a go-to person with whom you can share. So instead of keeping everything bottled up inside you, there is a person with whom you can share. And the perk is that person is going to share as also try and suggest coping mechanisms for you. Our Incredible You program is designed with the help of software. Lots of tools and techniques are there. Other good programs I'm sure are there, but I swear by the Incredible You program, our Fiends program. So it's very important to seek support. I reiterate, reinforce that please do not shy away from seeking professional support, because this is one of the needs of the hour. Because and that's why these professions are growing, you see. Yes.
Yes, so well explained. You many times you need the other person's perspective to see where you are, and it's like it's been said, na, you need to put your shoes, leg in others' shoes. So that is required, and you rightly said that you can take help of mentors, coaches, and your friends and family. So yes, audience, you can connect with Anjana for the help. She'll be happy to help you. So moving on to the next question, can you discuss the sorry what actionable tips or practice uh, would you recommend to individuals who are struggling with anxiety while trying to build and maintain their personal brand on social media platforms?
Yes. See, we have already, I think, discussed upon the major reasons for anxiety, stress, while we are going about self branding, personal branding over social media. I think we have covered the major reasons. In the fourth coming sessions, we will cover more of the complex reasons. However, the reasons which are pretty obvious have been discussed, I think. So, how to manage? How to manage? The first and foremost tip that I can give Vipul is limiting screen time, because these days I visit the spa, I visit the salon, and I find people having sagging, young people yet to get married, teenagers having skin issues because of the radiation. Okay, technology is welcomed, meant to be welcomed. However, when you get addicted to this, a cup of coffee, and I'm having coffee in Starbucks. That's also a way of personal branding. I don't know, but people do that. And something as mundane as a cup of coffee, and you break your head about how many likes, how many comments, what you learn from this cup of coffee, that is pushing things a bit too far, I think. So limit your screen time. I too have been there in that space, and I know how it feels, because every now and then my hand, impulsively would go over to my phone to check the notifications. So make a conscious, mindful effort to limit your screen time. It's very, very important. That's the hugest, the biggest tip that I can give people. Block time, schedule content in advance. Schedule what you're going to post and when you're going to post, which time, the first half of the day, during the afternoon or in the evening, or in the wee hours of the morning or at midnight. But you have got to have some kind of roadmap to it. So schedule content in advance. This is the content that will go today. This is the content that will go on Monday, over New Year, on Diwali, day after tomorrow. This I got I received recognition, Vipul, as top voice for motivation over LinkedIn just yesterday.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And I was like on 10th heaven. And I was thinking how important. Of course, I worked hard for it. I was writing articles, 6, 7, 8, 10 articles per day. I worked hard for it. And some other people also scheduled some talk shows, and also I was attending. They invited me over as an expert. I was attending. So it takes effort. You can't expect outcomes. Set your outcomes, but can't expect outcomes in the snap of a finger like this. You can't expect that to happen.
True.
It's a journey. It's a gradual process. So limit screen time, schedule content in advance, focus on quality over quantity. Don't break your head over the metrics, please. Don't be obsessed about the metrics. Engage authentically, post as well as schedule some time for engaging with the posts of others as well. Engage authentically. Share your thoughts from the inner core, whatever your emotions are, feelings are about that post or that share. Compliment if you like it. Compliment sincerely if you like it. You can also put across your side of the opinion rather than obsessing over metrics. This is the foremost thing, limiting screen time and getting obsessed over the metrics, the numbers. These tips can alleviate stress to great extent. Yes.
Yes, so well answered. You've answered it. You just nailed it, I must say. So, moving on very, very quickly, if you can, are there any specific mindfulness techniques or mental health practices that individuals can integrate into their personal branding journey to, elevate stress and anxiety effectively?
Yes, of course, of course, of course. Now try and understand, I can say tons and zillions of mindfulness practices like meditate, focus on each breath, focus on inhaling, exhaling. These are common practices. But how often and how many people are engaging in journaling, daily journaling? This is a question that I want to pose to the audience also. If you aren't doing it, you should start from today itself. Daily journaling, which helps manage stress. It increases self awareness, what you're doing, what went well today, what didn't go that well today. It increases your self awareness. What are your potential opportunities? What are your potential threats? What are your strengths? It gives a SWOT analysis where S stands for strengths, W stands for weaknesses, O stands for opportunities, and T stands for threats. I'm not going into the explanation of this SWOT, but everybody should conduct a SWOT analysis at the end of the day and document everything, journal. Just in brief, but do the journaling part. It helps manage stress, the pressures. It's a huge coping mechanism, I would say. It increases your self awareness, how you're managing things, whether you're able to cope effectively or not, because it is like a sort of mirroring that happens. And it also fosters emotional resilience because when you're doing this, I have failed so many times, I'll tell you, Vipul, that by now I couldn't care less. And when I developed that kind of resilience, I started succeeding. I started, I said that what have I got to
Wow.
lose? Yes, and I said, what have I got to lose now? I got used to failures. Then I stopped breaking my head over failures. I'm discussing this very candidly today, very candidly. However, people tell me that you're doing very well. I think I can do far better. And that journey continues. That journey continues. So, yes, journaling, as I said, sharing. with trusted people. If husband is not so supportive, parents are there. If parents are not there, one of your siblings will be there, right? Have your me time, have your buzz moments, because the Incredible You program lays a lot of stress upon buzz moments
True, true,
and the importance of buzz moments, and also the company that you hang out with. You see, Arfin always says something that you sleep with a dog and you start smelling like a dog. So please be mindful of the people that you hang out with.
true,
If you hang out with people who are drug addicts, chances are by the end of the week or by the end of this month, you will also be into substance abuse. You hang out with people who are five people who are achievers, who are going great guns in their careers. Chances are you will be at least 30 to 50% as successful as them.
true.
So these are, mindfulness techniques. Be mindful of the company that you're keeping. Be mindful of the people that you're hanging out with. So these are strategies and tips that I can give. My mindfulness, be conscious, be mindful of these things.
So
Yes.
very, very rightly said. Breathing techniques, journaling techniques, and the most important is, you rightly said, you are average of the five people around you. So make sure whom you are, having network, and that matters a lot. So one of the very last question of the day, but very important. Looking ahead, what trends or changes do you foresee in the realm of personal branding that could either elevate or intensify the uh, pressures individuals face in this domain?
Well, Vipul, there is a mix of positives and negatives. You have some positives and some negatives. There are some trends which are very, very encouraging and they look promising, and you know, they they focus on mental well-being. Nowadays, it's an important dialogue. It's an important discussion. Why do you think mental well-being is being discussed so often? So I'll say that trends like the rise of authenticity, people have realized the importance of being authentic, being original, being you, your USP to be projected. This is one thing. This is the rise of authenticity, then niche focused content. You've got to identify your niche. You can't just randomly post on whatever crosses your mind. You are creating a brand. So you've got to identify your niche, correct? So, otherwise you'll become jack of all trades, master of none. So have niche focused content. Emphasis on meaningful connections. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Nowadays, Instagram has got another vertical, threads, if you know threads, right? And all the other platforms. So what happens is these are encouraging trends. And then there's a dialogue for increased concern for mental health, because nowadays we have groups. I'm a member of a LinkedIn group which focuses on mental health, and I keep posting there, and mental well-being. These might, alleviate some pressures, remove the stress. These are trends, healthy trends. Rise of originality, rise of the importance of authenticity, niche focused content, emphasis on meaningful connections, meaningful networking, increased focus upon mental health and well-being. These are things which are promising, positives. They can help alleviate some of the pressures, a lot of the pressures, if used effectively. However, you have some of the trends which are not so positive. Technological advancement. What is Anjana trying to say? What is Coach Anjana trying to say? Technological advancements are not good. They are good if you know how to have a balance, how to use them within a certain boundary. Hacking is happening. That's also technology. You have people sharing OTPs and then your money is getting siphoned off your bank account. That is also technology. So technological advancements, lots of changes, now evolving algorithms over every platform, constantly evolving algorithms. They, I think, may intensify the need for constant changes, constant adaptation, constant content creation, changes in your content, changes in the content that you create, changes in the way you build up the narrative, the way you look at the niche, the way you treat your niche. You know, these are things that might build up on the pressure. However, I have cited a lot of coping mechanisms. In the forthcoming sessions, we'll discuss more of that. You can do a zillion things to cope with this kind of stress. Personal branding is something that you can't escape. You've got to work upon it. Of course, you have coping mechanisms to battle the stress that comes with it as a package, the stress and the anxiety that comes with it as a package. There are zillion, things that you can do. There's zillion tips that you can do. People can DM, people can engage with me, and we can begin a conversation. You can also search the net, but you got to work upon yourself, right? So some of the future trends are like this. You have a mix, you have a blend of positives as also negatives.
Well answered. And yes, looking forward to have more sessions with a detailed discussion on it. So well answered, and session was amazing. We got to know so many things. There were so many interactions. Audience have has asked questions, and it was amazing. So, what are your concluding notes? Your final words?
See, Vipul, as I said, you can't escape personal branding, and because that is the need of the hour. You know, some of the people known to me, they don't have even a LinkedIn account. There are people who exist even today in these times. There are some people who don't have a LinkedIn account. I train and mentor college kids at times, and I find that these teenagers, these young budding professionals, they are yet to know the importance of LinkedIn and the gold mine that LinkedIn is, and the algorithms. They don't know what algorithms we are speaking about. So you've got to understand that personal branding is something that you have to begin ASAP, as soon as possible, right? That's the need of the hour. However, along with that, you will have pressures. That is understood. Accept, embrace those pressures, emotional upheavals. Embrace them, accept them, but have emotional intelligence to combat them, right? Mindfulness is the hugest technique, the biggest strategy that I can highlight. Please understand that you have to picture your personal branding journey as a garden. This is my closing, statement. Picture your personal branding journey as a garden. Just as a
Wow.
gardener tends to their plants, you also have to nurture that brand, your own brand, by incorporating some mindfulness practices. There was a
Wow.
mindfulness question, I know. However, why I'm giving this garden example is something that I must tell you. Now, think of meditation. If I say one of the mindfulness techniques is meditation, oh, this is so repetitive. Coach Anjana is saying the same things over and over again. Meditation is something that we all know. We are having free meditation classes, sessions going on. I'll attend when I have time. Now, think of meditation as watering the seeds of creativity. Deep breathing exercise as the sunlight that energizes your focus. You know, journaling as the rich soil that allows ideas to bloom. I'm being very metaphorical, Vipul. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes, yes, perfect.
So these practices not only alleviate stress but also cultivate resilience, and then you have enhanced self-awareness, self-realization, and these foster a more sustainable, balanced approach to personal branding. So personal branding is something we cannot escape. With the package comes lots of things, some positive, some negative. Like negatives are of course stress, anxiety, huge amount of that, addiction, search for validation, adulation. So some mindfulness is the biggest technique. So
Great.
treat this personal branding journey like a garden, right?
So well explained, and that was an amazing concluding note. We got to know so many things, and thank you so much once again. And looking forward